Alright, so this is my Iron Golem farm, or at least I have two Iron Golem farms. This is the primary one that I have over that I started here. I tried this is scare-based Iron Villager farm, whereas this is town-based. So the scare-based farm has a zombie that pops up, and there's three villagers, and they scream and everything, and they're like, "Hey, we need a Iron Golem." And over here, there's a lot of villagers that haven't seen Iron Golems in a while, so they'll be like, "Hey, we haven't seen an Iron Golem. Let's do something." And so they spawn all these Iron Golems. There's a lot of stuff that was going on. This over here is my third attempt that actually finally did work fully. And this one here is my fourth attempt that I was like, well, I have all these villagers here. Let's see if we can do anything to help speed up the iron collection. So these villagers were, I just moved to this village just because the place I first started was just so far away from a village. So I was like, okay, let's just find a village, breed a lot of people, and get things set up. The villagers will spawn Iron Golems with scare tactics within an 8-block radius, I think, or 8-block chunk. So 8 blocks away from the closest that the villager can be is right here. I've dug out all around them, and then they will sense golems within 16 blocks. So that's where you see all of this area here covered with poppies. That's just where I didn't want any golems to appear, so I put up this fence to prevent golems from the town coming over into this area. There's a lot going on here. One thing I noticed is it wasn't really working at first. There's a lot of reasons why these things won't work. And one of them is your villagers have not had a time to rest. They've always been panicked. So what I did was I put this solar sensor underneath of a piston. And anytime it gets dark out, the zombie will go down. And that lets the villagers sleep at night. It only goes down at night. One thing I noticed is if I right-click the piston, sometimes it'll always stay on at night, regardless if there's sun or not. So you need to make sure that the solar panel is operated fully by the sun. There's not much to this other than the golems will always spawn on top, from what I understand. I had a lot of issues with these trapdoors. I had trapdoors at the edge of this, and the golems would just sit on the trapdoors up there and would not drop. So eventually I just took off all the trapdoors. And then the whole way that this pit's lined up, I had issues with trapdoors, and the last issue was like I figured I'd just dig down 2 so that the golems have no other way other than to go into this pit. I'll show you what the pit is. It's just a large lava blade set up over top of here. So I think I have like 5 or 6 buckets of lava that just spread out throughout the whole thing. And then underneath of this, I have signs that hold it up. I made it glass so I could actually monitor what's going on up there, seeing if anybody drops. It's about 48 seconds per golem on average, I think. I also have a daylight sensor here because I couldn't hear or see what was going on up there at first. And so since this has a direct line of sight to the sky, this sunlight sensor is able to detect when the day of time. And there's some redstone back here with some pistons And those pistons will retract when it's nighttime and reveal a bed underneath of here. And so once the bed shows up, I know, okay, those villagers have had plenty of time to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep as well, because the zombie actually retracts out of their view a little bit before I go into total darkness. So this operates off of total darkness, but the zombie will actually lower a little bit before that. I don't have any advanced item sorting other than, I've got a couple of chests that are lined up, and then I kept, I had to make sure I had enough hoppers to collect the whole area. So, yeah, fun stuff. We're gonna go up and I'm gonna show you what's going on with the other farm. The other farm has changed a few times. One of the main issues I had was trying to figure out how to keep golems from spawning outside of the town. I tried covering the whole place with buttons. I'm trying to think what else. I think I tried a few things, but in the end, so far it looks like the wheat, or I think just garden soil alone is good enough to keep golems from spawning in an area. They could spawn here. You can see I have all my buttons here still, and that was a nightmare to clean up all of these buttons. Let's go into town. I just kept giving my my villagers places to work, and then the inside, the whole town is just beds along the wall and more workstations. So for the most part, they'll stay in here. Then there's the town bell is right here, so they'll gather. But most of them stay in here for the most part. And then here's my little workstation area. I found that some plants would disconnect, and so I had to make sure I had light that the plants could grow. Alright. And then everything comes down here. You can see I have a bunch of hoppers, and it just collects there. So this is the newest addition to this area. I have half a sense to maybe make some zombies pop up occasionally to see if I can incorporate some of the scare tactics to increase the revenue of iron coming in. I don't know. Initially I had all the golems coming out to the edge here, and then they would fall into a pit. And the pit's still here, but it's covered with garden stuff now. So they would fall down here and be carried down here, and then they would be coming out here and being killed in the same pit as the first farm. But once they cross, I think this area here, they get within that 16 block radius, and I wasn't sure if the other villagers could sense them. I do have one issue or concern right now, is that this area that I'm in right now could potentially have golems spawning in it. I haven't seen any yet, but it is a concern. Oh, it looks like it's raining. So you see the zombies standing there right now, and it should get dark enough soon that he'll be lowered. So we'll see how that works. Right now they're running around. If the villagers don't sleep, then after a while, I don't know if it's 1 day or 4 days, they won't spawn any golems at all. In fact, when I'm at other places and then I take the portal over to here, they won't spawn any golems until it becomes nighttime and I'm able to sleep. So it seems like anytime that these chunks are loaded, they initially think they don't have time to sleep. So they went to sleep. This guy is lowered. And I'll show you what's going on with this sensor. If I click this, he goes back up. So that's something I had to catch on to. I haven't worked with sensors before. And then down here, the bed has magically appeared. The problem is, if you die after setting this as your respawn point, and it's during the day, the bed is inaccessible. So the game will probably teleport you over to world spawn and say, hey, your bed's destroyed or gone or something, so have fun at world spawn. Hopefully you can make it back to wherever you've been. Yeah, and then I just put all the poppies here because I could. It's like, why not? I don't think they serve any purpose. Maybe less cats are around. Actually, I've seen the cats spawn on the roof now. I haven't really seen them in too many other places. So this town will spawn cats. It's just not a regular thing. And the area is pretty much a plain. I've pretty much taken down whatever was there from the town. You can see they're spawning golems more than one at a time. And then I just bring the golems over here. Most of these are just blades of signs with solid water, infinite water sources across there. And then down here there's a source here, a source at the corner, and a source there. And then I think another source in the middle there, and then a middle there to kind of push them into that one small area. Actually, I can walk up to show you guys what's going on there. And you want to make sure your villagers do not get out, because if your villagers get into this area, they can spawn golems outside of this area. So all the wheat is for me on the outside of the village, which, because they're all farmer villagers, I just harvest all the wheat and sell it back to them and get some emeralds occasionally. Here I have, it's a 4x4 collection of iron hoppers with water over top of them. I can walk underneath here just fine, but because the iron golems are 3 blocks high, their heads are in the lava while their feet are in the water, they die anyway. You've got signs holding it up, you've got cobblestone around here, nothing that will burn. Strangely enough, wooden signs do not burn from lava. And you can see here's infinite lava source, or no, water source. There's one here, and one here. Yeah, and they don't seem to have problems with getting stuck on this area of signs right now. And they can't get out of this area over here with the ladder just because it's only 1 block wide. So fun stuff. Ideas I have later on are to lower all the torches and put like pumpkins underneath of all the water sources to keep the place lit up. Maybe put something on the edges, like some of those thorn bushes, in case we have to deal with raids or something accidentally. But you'll see I have water on the sides here, just to make sure that this whole area here can actually be irrigated with the water. I've had an issue here every time I come down off the ladder. And if you do have that area growing, you can't have a ladder there. Just a little bit darker. But the main thing I want to make sure was that these villagers would be able to feed each other. That's the whole reason I have farmers. They feed each other, they keep each other happy, they are at full capacity. They will not. They want to have kids, but there are either not enough beds or not enough workstations. I think it's the lack of workstations, although the beds are full at night. Um, so yeah, both sides are irrigated. So even under the wall here, it's all irrigated. Yeah. So those are my iron farms. If that gives you ideas, good luck to you. Yeah, this is the first time I've actually been successful at these things, just because they take such a long time in survival if you don't have the resources yet. But for the most part, I have all the iron I need, and I'm always making stuff out of iron as well. Yeah, fun stuff.